Welcome to the Traffic Domination Podcast, where entrepreneurs come for traffic answers. And here are your hosts, Rob Reese and Wayne Crowe.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Rob Reese here, along with the host with the most, Wayne Scare Crowe. What's going on, Wayne?
I look like a scarecrow today, mate. I just come back from the gym. I had a shower. I need a shave. So, yeah, thanks for that.
Listen, you look pretty, okay? You look pretty. You're looking good, my friend. I know that you've been so busy, sleepless nights these last week, really. You've been pretty busy, my friend. You actually just launched a product. Well, I just want to take off my hat to you, and congrats on that milestone for you.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Now, this is your first launch, and you're doing quite incredible. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's gone better than I thought, mate. I didn't have many expectations, really, to be honest. Never done it or anything, but yeah, it was pretty good. Learned a hell of a lot.
You know, most folks, it takes a few times for them to go through a launch like you're going through right now in order to learn some of the lessons that you've learned. Why don't you give us a little bit of a breakdown as to what you've experienced this last week? And then why don't you tell us really the reason why you even engaged in this?
Yeah, awesome. The biggest thing I've learned, and we discussed this just before we went live, was probably to understand the audience a bit better. I think that's probably the big thing. So, like this training, although I see it as quite basic, it's actually quite advanced. And I wanted to make it bigger, but the guys who I worked with are like, don't make it too big, people will not read it. So it's trying to get that balance in the middle, which I found really hard. But my idea is support it like hell afterwards, because there's people using it. There's people doing it already. There's people building their list. And the good, like the people who are making, who have been in the industry a while, let's say, they can see the power of it, because it is a really freaking good technique. So they can see the power of it, and they're jumping on it. Like this, the people who really know are jumping on it. It's more, I needed to kind of make it simpler and more step by step. But my thought process now is, right, let's capture them afterwards. Now they've paid, it's a cheap product. It's not like it's full coaching, but I want to really look after them people. And if they can get results, make sure they get results. That's my motto with everything. If they can do it, I want to give them all the help they need to do it.
You know, that's one of the things that I love about you, Wayne, is that you actually are one of the guys that actually cares about the people that are behind purchasing the product, right? You're not just out for a money grab like a lot of these guys who are constantly just launching. And then, of course, the product that they bought three products ago is no longer relevant, or it's no longer just available for support. And that's something that I really just want to commend you on is the level of support that you give your guys inside Traffic Domination. It's pretty much one of the best ones that I've ever seen, because you're constantly there. You're constantly answering people's questions. I mean, no one, I literally, I don't know anyone in this business personally that works as hard as you do. So I really, really do think that you are a bound above any other right now in this business. But enough of your product launch.
Made me feel all fuzzy now.
But why don't you get into a little bit of more of the nitty gritty as to why you actually decided to do this?
Yeah. So the big thing for me, I want to experience. A lot of people will tell you always focus on one thing. Okay, always focus on one thing. Always master one thing. I want to at least experience everything. Does that kind of make sense? I want to at least experience the product launch, at least experience running Facebook ads, at least experience building a list. And my kind of process is, if I'm not very good at it, I'll find the people who are good at it, and they can either teach me or teach, the group as it is. So for me, it was about why, how does the mechanics of it all work? Why are people building these lists, and the people I've met since I've started has kind of made me realize the differences in like a simple thing like the lists. As you know, I come from a solo ad background, and kind of I want to be known as an internet marketer, not a solo ad vendor. Being called a solo ad vendor isn't, you know, it's not like one of the best things in the world, is it? Like they've got a bad name because of some of the people in it, most of the people in it. There's loads of good ones out there, loads of really clever people in it, loads of knowledgeable, good people, but there's some bad ones out there that spoil it for everyone else. And I wanted to kind of experience all the different range of lists, basically, that you can build. And I'm glad I did, because the product launch is, there I've seen, the best list you can have. It's basically, I mean, I'm not looking to sell to them. I'm looking to give them immense value. The first email I sent out done something like 60% open rate. That's how engaged they are. That's how responsive they'll be to help. Does that make sense? I guided them all to the Q&A we got Friday for the product. And loads of people have jumped on. So I'm like, this is fantastic. Like, I've got an audience that, I won't say it's easy, but that kind of, when you look at other things you can do, it's actually quite an easy way to build an audience. So I've got an audience I can speak directly to, directly help, and give my experience to, rather than trying to say, look, I've got experience, I can help you. Does that make sense? Because normally, if people come up to you and they don't know anything about you, you could be a multi-trillionaire, but if they don't know you, they're not even going to listen. So it's nice that they've kind of read this, they looked at it, thought, some people have got onto it and they're taking it away, they're going with it. Some people have not got a clue what it's about until they've read it 4 or 5 times. But I mean, that's really what it takes to be successful in net marketing, as we know. It's not a case of, look, I mean, I haven't bought many of these products, so I don't know what other products are like, but I can kind of guess a lot of them don't work. A lot of them may work for a week until everyone's doing it and it doesn't work. What I've taught here, okay, someone told me 2 days ago, and I'll find a screenshot, he used to teach a method like this, not as good, because there is some good little hacks in there that some people have picked up on, for $5,000. So that gives you an idea. This was 2-3 years ago. Some people were selling this for $5,000. So that gives you an idea of there's a ton of information in there. It still takes a ton of learning on top of it. That's the thing. Like, people can do it by themselves. It might take 6 months to really grasp it by going through everything that is in the PDF, but it can change your life. Won't make you a multi-millionaire, but it can kind of do some. Well,
it's certainly gonna kickstart people in there. But let's talk about specifically the result that you got, because you were looking to launch for a specific reason. That is to try to see what kind of list you can get from actually launching a product, okay? And you said very clearly, in no uncertain terms, that this is the best list you can grow, which is through launching a product. Now, whether or not you do that on a affiliate network like Warrior Plus or JVZoo is kind of the irrelevant piece. But the fact of the matter is that you put a product out, right, of your own, and the people who purchase the product, the list that is built from those buyers is the most responsive you're going to get. And of course, to us, that's a very logical progression of thought and action. Because when I launched my product, I saw the very same thing. It was 60 to 70% open rate in the first couple of days of an email, when I'm kind of walking them through the product, offering my help to kind of answer any questions that they may have coming up. Engagement in the Facebook group was through the roof, because people were sinking their teeth into this brand new training that they're getting into. And this is one of the reasons why I'm kind of focused in this area of how I'm building my list. I'm getting ready to put out another product that eventually will become some type of a monthly recurring product of interviews with high-level 6-figure, 7-figure marketers, where people will get access to new interviews every single month. of 6-figure, 7-figure marketers talking about different aspects of affiliate marketing, building your business, building a list, launching. I mean, literally, it's going to cover all kinds of gamuts on affiliate marketing and online marketing. And it's because I see exactly the value that you've just, made clear, that building your list through creating launches and creating products of your own is going to get you the most engaged list out there. And of course, you have to have the mindset first and foremost of desiring to help people with solving a problem, right? The problem that they have is X, Y, or Z. You can fulfill that need, and of course, therefore, you're helping them in that problem. If you're just in it for making money and just kind of a money grab, like I mentioned earlier, that will eventually fade away. You'll make a lot of money for sure in the very short term, but it's not going to present itself as a long-term viable business model. So I totally get what you're saying with that, Wayne. Now, when it comes to building lists like this, how would you propose, Wayne? Because you've been building lists for years now in different methods. What is a good kind of a way to approach the follow up with these people after the fact? So let's just take, for instance, a launch, right? You just went through a launch. What is a good way to approach reaching out to these people and then, of course, continuing to monetize this list?
So the first thing I think about is, what is my goal? Okay. So my personal goal from this launch is so that these people know me. Because outside in the big wide world, I'm not very well known. I'm not kind of seen as a thought leader or anything.
You're a superstar. You're a superstar, my friend.
I'm trying to make my mark somehow. I'm working out how I can make my mark. So my main goal for these people is to connect with me in what I see as my other list, the Facebook group, the Facebook page, to connect with me in other ways. That's my main goal, because I want to surround these people. That's what I want to do. I want to be like, I'm here. So these people have bought my product. I can give them all the help they need to really understand it, create a few success stories, and that helps build my credibility. That's really my goal for this product launch, is to see a whole new niche and say, right, this is what I need to do. I mean, and what I really want to do is give people that wow factor. Okay, I want to give people that follow me, the people that I coach, the people I have coached, the people I will coach, well, give people that wow factor. Like, this is what you can do. Okay, there's a different thing. A lot of people are struggling with the same thing over and over and again. They haven't got a mentor, which I see now is a massive mistake. They haven't got a community. They haven't got whatever they need. And it's really about showing those people, look, this is what's really possible when you try different things, or you follow someone, or you know. And with that guy that done 94% sales conversion rate, I was like, whoa. That's the number one affiliate done 94% sales conversion rate. And the EPC on that, obviously, when it comes to different lists, like the EPC on that, I can't remember exactly, $7, something like that. Whereas you go out to the other end and churn and burn solo ads sellers, they're used to 30 cents EPC. So because they don't understand the different types of lists you can build, most solo ad vendors just need to build a list that produces clicks. To them, that's like, whoa, so they all want to get on it. But it's like, whoa, you're not going to get on this in the launch because you're going to drag down this EPC. Do you see what I mean? So it's kind of teaching. So I'm learning things that I can teach the group. So I'm learning all these new skills to teach people. And that's really my kind of goal with everything I'm doing, is to learn new skills and pull in the best that I can find. And that's it, really. Yeah. So it depends. If you're like a solo ad vendor, they want to get clicks. So your first follow-up, a clever little technique which for self-hosted, some people use self-hosted, is you send the first follow-up, someone goes in and clicks, the immediate thing you do is copy them to a new list with another follow-up on it. That'll get 40-50% opens on a solo ad list, which increases your opens, your clicks, and everything else. So it really depends on your goal. And a solo ad vendor, their main goal is to get clicks. If you can move people through a list, if each time they click copy, and keep sending them a fast action bonus, for example, this is a big tip for solo ad vendors, and hopefully gives some other people some ideas. Especially with self-hosted, you're going to increase your clicks. And if you count a follow-up as your ROI in your funnel, which some people do, that increases your immediate ROI, which means you're going to make more profit.
All right, so I'm very interested in this particular portion of building a list, and kind of throw out the idea of launching or anything like that. Let's just say you're a person who's trying to build a list. You've got some people to opt into your list. What should a decent follow-up series look like? Should you start immediately selling, in your opinion, or should you start to try to build value, or kind of a little bit of both? How does that look?
Again, depends on the list. A product launch list, I firmly believe you've got to build a relationship with those people, because that's the most responsive list. And people have different attitudes. So some people will build a relationship, but I also know people that will just keep selling to that list. And that is always shown in the conversion rate. So you think that 94% conversion rate, he's got a fantastic relationship with his list. He knows how to kind of qualify people and everything else to make the high conversion rates. Whereas some of the top people I also know, and this is not with my attitude, this isn't my attitude with the buyers list, but I've got another buyers list that is built from CPA and some of my other products. My attitude with that is more, I'm just going to sell to them, because It's all about direct return, not building a relationship with them. So the follow-ups, one thing a lot of people don't do is optimize their follow-ups. With my team, I've got one guy that writes my follow-ups. We optimize all the time. We have a sheet. We constantly optimize. A lot of people just set a follow-up series and leave it. Okay, that's one of the biggest things you can do, is optimize it. So optimize for clicks, opens, sales, whatever your main goals are, and constantly moving about, constantly change subject lines, change the content. A hell of a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, because I mean, what you're talking about is the dreaded 4-letter cuss word in working for yourself, which is work. It takes work to do those things, and you know what? I'm guilty of that, mostly because I'm not afraid of the doing the work, but just because of ignorance, And when I started out in this business, I just kind of bought into some of the hype that is in our industry, and there's a lot of hype in this industry, and most of the time it's more of just clever headlines that you don't know any better on how to read past what it's actually telling you. But that's how they get you in. That's how they get you sucked in. And then, of course, the great divide ends up happening in this. Either you're going to continue to stick with it and spend a ton of money all the rest of your life, essentially, until you get jaded, or eventually you're gonna look past all the nonsense and you're gonna say, all right, I know this works. I know what I'm doing currently is not working. How do I adjust and refocus my efforts in order to make this work? And that's kind of I'm kind of at the end of that crossroad now. Is I finally saw the tunnel. I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and I said, all right, this is what I needed to do in order to start changing it. And about 8-9 months ago, things started changing for the better, because I started paying attention a little bit more to what actually does work, how to actually build an online business. And it's made all the difference, guys. It's made all the difference. And if anybody tells you it's not going to be hard work, is lying to you. Okay. Now, there's a difference between tasks being simple and things being difficult and hard work. Okay, those are two different avenues. Okay, I can work hard, but the things still be simple. It's just going to be a lot of work behind it. Simple little tasks build up, and you have to do a lot of these simple little tasks, but you've got to connect them together. You've got to find the puzzle pieces and put them in the right spot. I mean, there is a lot of moving parts to this business, and if you're not prepared to actually do the things that are required of you to make a successful business out of this, you're gonna find yourself broke and disenfranchised with the entire business, because you're gonna think everybody's just out to get my money, and that's not the case. That's not the case.
What a horrible it's almost like victim attitude, like you heard of the victim mindset. It's almost like that. The thing that done it for me was simply, I realised you have to, and hopefully this will ring in some people's minds a bit and stick with them for a while, is you have to stop being a consumer, become a producer. Like, once I realised that, for me, that was kind of, right, I need to stop consuming stuff and I need to produce stuff. Like, I know that sounds completely bizarre, but it doesn't matter what you produce. A lot of people think I know, I've got this game plan in my head. They know what I'm doing. I've got, I just magically pick something up and it works, or magically pick up and it doesn't, whatever. But I just take so much action that stuff works. That's really, for me, been the secret, is I just take so much action. And now I've got a team of people. I can take more and more action, which means I reach more failures, but I also reach more successes. And that's really kind of where having the team makes you realise this. You're still going to mess up. You're still going to waste. I mean, I've wasted tens of thousands this year on stuff that just didn't work. But I've got new business models that I can teach traffic domination. One of them is a buyer's list. One of the things I've sort of done over the last year and a half, 2 years, is a buyer's list from other traffic sources. And just yesterday, I found out a way. I can't go into too much detail because I'm working on the method at the minute, but I found a way to pull out buyers from pretty much anywhere. So you can build buyers lists. Whether it's an idea, but kind of we're working on it at the minute. And if we can do that, you can build buyers lists for CPA and everything. And that for us, that's a game changer, because you can build a buyers list whilst building your list, whilst building a profit, and then it's just boom, just fully scalable.
Interesting. Very interesting. I can't wait to see when that comes out, my friend.
It's the same thing. It could just fall on its, ass.
Yeah. Well, that's the life of a online marketer and entrepreneur. You're testing, and I remember you were doing a live video, and you were talking about how you actually did something. You spent a couple of $1,000 and it just didn't work. People are afraid to fail. When I've been under the mindset as of the last couple of years where failing is one of the best places to learn, right? Mm-hmm. Because you're going to find out so much information about that particular thing that you just did, whatever it is. It doesn't matter really what it is. If you've tried something and failed at it, there's a humongous lesson to be learned there. And essentially what you can say is almost, now this doesn't work. The opposite may in fact work if there is a opposite correlation, right? But when you're able to actually see the results of a failing campaign of some sort, you can go to it with some critical mindset and say, you know what, this is what I've learned about the audience, about the product, about the market, about the whatever it is, and apply different methods now, so you know that these things didn't work. Try something different now, because guess what? You'll at least be a step closer to an actual positive goal. I remember when I was in sales, I used to be a telemarketer, and the one thing, listen, I made a lot of money selling over the phone, and the one thing that one of my telemarketing mentors taught me was, don't count the no's as necessarily a failure. The no's simply make you that much closer to a yes. And in the same instance, this thing that you're failing in, whatever it may be, don't count it as necessarily a failure. Count it as one more step to your success.
Yeah, definitely. One of the things that I talk about, one of the things I do, I don't think many people do, is this might, I'll keep this short, but basically I sit there at the start. Okay, so with the product launch, I didn't do this. I had no expectations, but normally we'll sit there at the start. Okay, I'll get on this whiteboard. I don't know if we've been through this before, but this is massive. This is what, in every business, I realised not planning necessarily. I'm not a planner. I'm kind of off. I do what I feel like focusing on at the time. I don't plan much, but the figures matter. Okay, the figures in internet marketing, especially when it comes to traffic, it's all about the figures. So I literally sit on this whiteboard, come up with ideas with a team. I put this camera on a tripod and we sit there scribbling on this whiteboard. And then we kind of project what's going to happen. We think, right, what's going to happen? Okay, and we create an expectation of what's going to happen. And we have, after a set amount of time, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever, we say, right, in X amount of time, this is what we expect to happen. We review it and see where we got to. When we either drop it, it's done rubbish, we'll just drop it, like the $3,000 thing you said. We just dropped it. I didn't even want to go into it anymore because that would cost me 10, 15 grand just to even test it. Then there's something that looked like, the figures weren't quite what we expected, but we can optimize and make it work. Or as the third one, this has gone too well, how do we blow it to the moon? And they're like, after 2 to 4 weeks, we review it and say, right, what can we make better? What can we get rid of? What don't we need to do? How do we build a process in so we make this a business as usual type thing? So when you first implement stuff that's new to everyone, you're learning new skills, you're kind of picking up new things. How do you take the chunks you can process and give to someone just to keep going? So someone not maybe technically minded, or someone who's good at that technical side of it, you just outsource it, you focus on making this thing better. And all the time, that's a lot of my day, probably 3 hours of my day is making better what we already got and coming up with new ideas. It's 3 hours of my day, pretty much every day, from 9 till 1-ish. In that gap, is what I do. How do we make this better? How do we give that to someone who, you don't need to do that? How do we process that out? That's most of my day now, or pretty much 3 hours, 4 hours of my day. That's the exciting part I love.
Wow. See, this is exactly why you guys need to be inside of Traffic Domination, because you get the mastermind behind of all of this, Wayne Crowe. You get to have access to this man's brain. All of that extra hard work that you would need to do on your own, this guy does it for you. So, but listen, Wayne, such a informative episode. Thank you so much again for all that you have inputted on this show. This is absolutely gold. So guys, don't forget, please subscribe to us on all of our social media channels, Traffic Domination. Make sure you join the free Facebook group as well. Just type in Traffic Domination in the search bar and you'll find us. Also, please make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, and all of the other podcast catchers. Share it with your marketing friends, share it with your entrepreneur friends, and of course, if you guys have any insights as what you would like to hear in future podcasts, please feel free to send that in to us as well. You'll be able to find all of our contact information below this episode. And one more thing, guys, please make sure you download the free PDF guide that we have for you on how to actually purchase solo ads if you're a complete newbie to this. Guys, let me tell you, it is absolutely a no-brainer. This thing has tons of value. It's going to give you some insights that you may not have thought about. And of course, you're going to get the brainchild of this man right here, Wayne Crowe, inside of that PDF, which is one of the most beautiful brainchilds I have ever seen, by the way. But thanks again, guys. This is Rob Reese, along with your host with the most, Wayne Crowe, your host for the Traffic Domination podcast. And we will see you next time. Take it easy, guys.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.